Hey y'all, what's up? Eric Johnson back with y'all again with another quick video. I'm gonna be talking about certain topics throughout, this whole video. So just be in for the long run. I'm not gonna be too long, but we're gonna get into some good business because I don't do videos like I used to. But shout out to King Eric, the great off the cuff radio. He did a couple of videos I like that I wanted to talk about. Rick Ross, and this whole DC Young Fly situation that's going on. Rick Ross got his fat ass up there trying to, do the interview with the brothers up there. I don't look at 85 South at all, but from the situation I seen with them going back and forth with each other, this doesn't surprise me with Ross. Like in certain positions that he been in throughout his whole entire career. But I think this the first time that I ever seen him like get up from an interview and just leave with like without like really explaining himself. Now I can see if it was like the Birdman situation of like them allegedly playing with his name, not putting no respect on his name on the biggest boss that we done seen thus far. And oh yeah, speaking of Rick Ross, they is opening a wing stop in my hometown. So hopefully I can get me some of them lemon pepper wings with the mild sauce on the side. But just don't be adding no extra lemon pepper because I don't like lemon pepper wings with all that lemon pepper on it and shit. That shit need to be exactly just right. But you know me, I'm kind of a wimp. I get like mild or like sweet and spicy. But besides that, this whole situation with DC Young Fly and Rick Ross. Now he could have had the decency to be like, look, I'm gonna have something to do later on, but I'm gonna still do the video for y'all. I'm gonna still do the interview. Just let it be like 35 minutes to maybe an hour. This nigga gonna get up from the damn interview. They getting into it, they chopping it up, and this motherfucker gonna leave without no explanation. Next thing you know, you see this motherfucker on I don't know what podcast or which platform he was on. Messing with some white dude. Don't get me the lie, cause half of these motherfuckers on these podcasts and these you know videos I really don't be looking at, cause motherfuckers be letting their wires get smashed out by us brothers. We be busting nuts and bitches wives and stuff. So besides that, Adam 22. These motherfuckers don't want to come to these black platforms since they've been in these positions. And it's like that with certain Negroes throughout our community, especially for black Americans. I ain't talking about these other tethers and, other unstable creatures. I'm talking about black Americans. If you know that you done came up in the music game, in the rap game, when these other folks want to mess with you, you had a large majority of your demographic being the same color as you. And you mean to tell me out of the 20 plus years you've been in the rap game and you at a point in your career where I can't really see Rick Ross doing anything else besides trying to get into some beef and just do promo for his next album. Because I'm gonna just tell y'all the truth, I've been on Rick Ross for a long time. I like much of his older work than I would say his newer stuff. I'm not really paying attention to it because you got so many newer artists out here that are actually putting out good music and stuff, and actually putting out their stuff on physical media and adding the track list to the back of their, CDs, cassette tapes, vinyls, etc. But besides that, there was a dirty ass move that Rick Ross did. So you mean to tell me you can diss a brother like DC Young Fly, which I don't really know him like that. I just know him from like being a comedian, being real funny. Besides that, 85 South, that is a really good podcast. Never been up there, never looked at them like that at all. But to see stuff like that and to see some sucker shit that Rick Ross did down to your own brother and y'all up there and y'all chopping it up, and those dudes up there is actually fucking with you for real, not on no superstar fanboy shit. They was actually fucking with you. They fuck with your music. They seen the rise, the trials and tribulations that Rick Ross fat ass been going throughout, his time in the rap game. Him getting sliced up by 50, you and him and these other folks going back and forth, Gunplay get suplexed a couple of years ago, allegedly by, some folks that I don't want to say nothing about, but Rick Ross has been doing some dirty shit for the longest, and a lot of these rappers be doing some fuck shit like that. Excuse me, when it comes to the black media platforms, they so bad and bougie and so snobby and so snotty that they don't want to come to the small guy that actually try to get a name and trying to do black media. They want to go to these big ass platforms. They want to go to the Adam 22s. They want to go to these DJ Vlads. They want to go to these other motherfuckers that don't care about the culture. But when the real people, the brothers or the sisters or the people who actually care about hip hop or care about the culture, who actually want to chop it up and do some good business and talk about some real good things besides you fuck niggas getting sniped up or getting lawsuits from dingy ass white bitches that you could have been smashing with a paper bag over the top of these bitches' heads. They don't want to talk about that. They want to go to these white folks platforms and answer every goddamn question that known to man. But when you come to these other platforms, when it comes to the black folks, when it comes to the brothers and sisters, y'all be limiting the certain things that y'all want to talk about. But when y'all go on the white man's platform, y'all be real, you know, on y'all best behavior. Y'all don't be talking all that slick shit most of the time when y'all be on the white platforms. But when y'all come to the black platforms, y'all want to be, you know, standoffish. Y'all want to be dickheads. Y'all want to be just not in tune with, like, you know, your people. So, you know, I could be a person who run a podcast. My patience is very thin. For those who know me on Twitter, I'm very I got a very short, I won't say temper, but like I have little patience to be dealing with motherfuckers like this, not only online but in real life. So, you know, there was a suck ass move that Rick Ross did. Hopefully, you know, this don't lead to anything because you know, 50 and Rick Ross fat ass. Then you got Big Meech and his son wilding out here, you know, fucking up the BMF, you know, TV series. Most likely this will be the last season because, you know, I'm just gonna leave it at that, man. So, you know, this DC Young Fly and Rick Ross situation is just some sucker shit, man. I blame Rick Ross for this shit, man, because you didn't have to do that shit. You could have said that we could reschedule the interview because I got something to do later on instead of just getting up and just leaving, like on some sucker shit. That was a sucker ass move, like. And I already wasn't fucking with Rick Ross like that. You know, he makes solid music, but he still haven't paid homage to the real OG, the real Rick Ross, who was out here doing this thing back in the day, who is the real Rick Ross. You took that man's name while you was a damn security guard and lied about it. You was a prison security guard, nigga, and you lied about you being a prison security guard. If you would have told the truth and paid homage to the real dude who came before you, you would have probably been way better off in the rap game instead of just lying about it. Like, this shit is just some sucker stuff, man, that Rick Ross been doing. So, you know, he probably still feeling the pressure, is still sweating over, you know, them alleged fists that he got in Canada between, you know, the whole OV Ho camp and that whole situation with Drake and his camp allegedly being like backed up by the Hells Angels and stuff. I talked about this shit months ago, but you know, besides that, it's such a damn shame that, you know, you can't get these rappers on these platforms, you know, to chop it up like real brothers are supposed to. But they can go see these white folks platforms and be laughing and be, you know, having the Kool-Aid Man smile, doing the, you know, tap dancing, the Django Calvin crying run laugh emoji to these other platforms. But when it comes to the brothers, they want to be standoffish and be very unprofessional and I wouldn't say coonish, but like, you know, stink about it. So besides that, shout out to King Garrett, the great off the cuff radio, doing the video on this whole Rick Ross and DC Young Fly situation. Go subscribe to that brother, Off the Cuff Radio, very underrated YouTuber, King Eric the Great. With that being said, like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell me what y'all think about the whole situation with Rick Ross. You know, Mr. Lemon Pepper, Mr. 20 piece, you know, KFC chicken with the 11 herbs and spices on the side. Hopefully they can, you know, squash this and, you know, get back to real business. Probably Rick Ross using this as promo for, you know, his next album. So besides that, you know, thank y'all for looking at the video and I'll check y'all out on the next one.